We usually get right into these videos super fast, but I wanted to slow down here today. Your time is incredibly valuable, and ultimately my intention for you by watching this video is to feel more confident approaching prospecting and for you to leave this video feeling like you have some tactical, low-hanging fruit, easy to implement strategies to find more success in your sales job sooner rather than later. If this is the first time we've met, I'm Trent Dressel. I'm an account executive in software sales. I've been doing this for over 3 years. I've made over 40,000 cold calls, leading to over $14 million in generated pipeline, resulting in over $1 million in closed revenue. If you have any follow-up questions or would like to join professional networks or simply talk, send me a connection request on LinkedIn. I love hearing from y'all. I get messages daily regarding comments on these videos, questions. Folks reach out saying, hey, you helped me get a job. You helped me get that promotion. So would love to hear from you. The link to my LinkedIn will be right in the description below. Ultimately, this next statement may make you feel a little uncomfortable, but it's going to be the premise of sales prospecting and how you can reach more success and start to blow your numbers out of the water. By the end of this video, you are going to have to answer this question for yourself. But do you feel like you are the master of your own destiny? Or do you feel like life is just happening to you? Winning in sales, winning in life, hitting your quota or not hitting your quota is a conscious decision. You have everything it takes right now in this moment to go hit your quota, to go make your cold calls, to do your sales prospecting numbers. But a lot of people haven't made up their mind. They're not willing to chase their greatness. They're not willing to accept failure. They're not willing to accept the responsibility. They're not willing to put in the necessary level of action. We could talk all the tactical sales strategies in the world, like using LinkedIn Sales Navigator, sending voice messages on LinkedIn, whatever. I'm going to share some of the strategies and where I focus my time from a prospecting standpoint here today. So make sure to stick around to the end of the video. But ultimately, you have to decide, are you going to find an excuse to win each and every day? That's really what it boils down to. That's what it takes. We could get into all the tactical sales strategies, but ultimately, if you are not willing to put in the action, if you're not willing to execute on them, then you're never going to find your success. And hitting your quota is binary. It's either you decide, yes, I'm going to do it, or no. And then your actions will then manifest in the results. The beautiful thing about sales prospecting is you're going to be told no a lot. You are paid to experience rejection, failure, hardships, each and every day. No one's tallying your loss column. Of course, you probably have metrics following all that, but you only need to receive a yes 1 or 2 times a day. You can make 100 cold calls in a day, and if you set 1 to 2, maybe 3 meetings, that is a big day. Even if you receive 7 no's in that day, you may get hung up on. I used to keep tallies in my early SDR days. Me and the guy next to me would keep tallies every time we got hung up on, and once it hit 5, we had to go grab a beer. Not something I'm doing anymore. Would not advise midday beers, but at the time, it made a lot of sense. The keys to the yeses and nos is think of your vibe and your attitude as just a wave. You're gonna be up, you're gonna be told yes, you're gonna be told no, you go down. You just need to have an equilibrium state. You never get too happy, you never get too sad. There's a lot of things that can happen through the course of your day that will really just ruin everything or will bring you so much joy and so much dopamine that you're like, yes, this is awesome. It's gonna be constant flow up and down. And I'm here to tell you that you're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have bad moments. A lot of people say you always need to be positive. You need to always be grateful. That's all good and fine, and you will have moments like that, but you got to accept that you're going to feel bad sometimes. You're going to be told no a lot. The key here in order to mitigate that and be as productive and achieve the outcome you desire, such as hitting your quota, putting up your sales numbers, is being disciplined and consistent each and every day. How many times throughout the day do you get an email and you'll say, oh, I'll mark a calendar invite, I'll follow up with this person later in the afternoon. Eventually, all these tasks boil up and it's 3, 4 p.m. You got to send your emails, you got to send your follow-ups, you still got to make some calls. The key here and the differentiator in a lot of reps when it comes to sales prospecting is how do you structure your day? You need to start your day early. If you are not sitting in your chair, if the sun is already up by the time you sit in your chair, you've already lost the day. You need to figure out how to wake up earlier. How do you get to your desk earlier? If you're commuting, you got to wake up earlier, you got to leave earlier, and you got to start your day before other people are starting their day so that you can get through the BS admin work in the first 10 to 20 minutes of the day. And then before 7 or right around 7:15 local time, you got to be in a position to plan out your day and you got to start making your calls. Something I do religiously each day is I always make my cold calls in the morning. I'm always focused on making my calls. As an SDR, it's cool to make a lot of calls. As an account executive, it's not cool to make a lot of calls. I'm someone who's not great at discovery. I'm not that good at demoing. I'm average at a lot of the sales cycle, but I'm able to compensate for my lack of skill by being a volume player when it comes to prospecting and follow-up. So just note that you don't need to be the most talented person, but if you're putting up numbers, you will find success in your prospecting. Believe me, that's really the secret recipe. When we think about prospecting, a lot of people don't know what that means. A lot of people say, how would I prioritize my book of business? How do I target accounts? What do I do? Do I use LinkedIn? Do I make calls? What tools do you have? Here's the bottom line. Whether you're an SDR, whether you're in business development, whether you're an account executive, whether you're an enterprise rep, whether you are an intern, whatever it may be, you're gonna have a list of companies, a list of accounts. It's the same thing. Let's say you have 1,000 accounts in your book of business. You could be supporting somebody with a book of business. You could have your own book of business. You have 1,000 accounts. You could spend your time on a lot of different areas that most likely will not yield a positive outcome. So where do you spend your time on the activities that have the highest potential outcome? The key here is prioritizing accounts either based on employee count, revenue, or any other differentiators you have based on your product you sell. But then within these good accounts that you identify, where is the low-hanging fruit? In my own personal job, the low-hanging fruit looks like interesting moments, cross-sell, upsell, and lost opportunities. Interesting moments, this may be unique to my business. Fortunately, we have a marketing team. As easy it is to make fun of the marketing team and say they're not doing anything, realistically, they're doing a great job sharing the value prop and highlighting potential customer problems via booklets, pamphlets, webinars, events, whatever. And that's naturally going to attract potential buyers to your website, to your webinars, whatever. So anytime if you have a way of tracking it, we have a way of tracking this in Salesforce, and it's not like it's a lot. It's not an extensive list, but it may be 1 or 2 daily, a couple weekly of folks that view the website, download content, go to a webinar, whatever. If there's any sort of warmth there, that's where you prioritize. That's where you start. Attack the low-hanging fruit. Number 2 is cross-sell and upsell. It's easier to sell to an existing customer than it is to acquire a new one. So identify the accounts in your book of business that either have existing spend in your product line or who spend with a different product line. Get them all on a sheet of paper and understand, are you doing a cross-sell? Are you selling to a company that spends with product B and you're selling product A? Then you can leverage those connections if it's a different buyer. If you're selling to an existing customer, it's going to be easier to get them to spend more with you than to simply find a new customer. That's cross-sell and upsell. Number 3 is lost opportunities. Prospects or customers who met with you or your team within the last 12 to 24 months. For some reason, that deal was lost, most likely due to budget, timing wasn't right, the previous rep didn't do a good job on the sales cycle, whatever it may be. Get a list of all the people who spoke with your company in the past and call them. Hey, it sounded like you were interested in XYZ at one point. Timing wasn't quite right. We've had new updates. We've reconfigured our pricing structure. It may make a lot of sense to talk mutual updates. Whatever it may be. The talk track's gonna be a lot easier than a cold outreach. Inevitably, you will have to call into cold outreach. You will have to target accounts in which there's no activity. The tools I use in my job that I rely on are LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Outreach to prioritize my calling and my emailing, Zoom Info, and then of course the Google suite with Google email, calendar, all that, and then Zoom to send the meeting. That's it. Ultimately, it's a decision. Ultimately, it's a mindset that you will eat what you kill. I adopt a true hunter mentality. I'm an account executive, and I see a lot of reps come in. As an SDR, I worked with a lot of account executives from other companies that left, that found success, that didn't find success. The common thread to find success in your sales job is being able to effectively generate pipeline. If you can prospect, if you can be given a book of business and go generate your own meetings, convert those meetings to demos, negotiate contracts, sell them deals, if you can be self-sufficient and find your own pipeline and win it and close it, it actually has a higher win rate than your SDR setting something. You will be put in a position to succeed. A lot of reps think, oh, if my marketing team, if my inbound, if my outbound team doesn't generate me pipeline, oh, if my partners can't generate me pipeline, then they can't do it. A lot of people think that the pipeline should just be given to them. The pipeline doesn't appear out of magic air. If you're fortunate enough to be at a company that generates pipeline for you, you need to capitalize on that, but you also need to go and become self-sufficient with generating your own pipeline. And that's the whole purpose of this video here today. It's a mentality. Are you willing to wake up early? Are you willing to start early? Are you willing to have the discipline to make your calls? Are you willing to accept no as an inevitability? Are you willing to keep pushing forward, understanding that it only takes one yes to change your entire day? Are you willing to be disciplined, to recognize your top accounts, to then identify the low-hanging fruit in the form of interesting moments, cross-sell, upsells, lost opportunities? If you can have the discipline to do all these things, I don't have a magic recipe of, oh, you make 10 calls a day, you send a follow-up email. None of that's going to help. If I had a whiteboard saying this is the messaging, you may be wondering messaging. None of that matters. All that matters is your output and making that decision, like we said at the beginning of the call. Do you believe you are the master of your own fate and you control your destiny? If you believe that, if you accept responsibility for all the good, all the bad, stay even keeled, then believe me, you will find more success in your sales job sooner rather than later. I want to hear feedback. I want to hear what you like about this idea, what you don't like about this idea. Let me know in the comments. Let me know on LinkedIn, whatever. And if you've enjoyed this video here today, make sure to subscribe to the channel. You will receive videos every day for the foreseeable future. You don't have to watch them all, but believe me, a video will come up that you say, oh, that would help me. I want to serve as that consistency of, hey, I'm on the front lines. Right behind this camera is my work from home setup. I'm on the front lines each day. I get destroyed. I have successes. I have failures. It's not easy. And I'll be the first one to tell you it's not easy. But I believe I control my own destiny. I'm not thinking like a ramping rep. I'm thinking like I'm a fully ramped rep 2 levels above me. That's the mentality. I'm going to attack it each day and believe that I control my fate and everything will take care of itself. So if you think like that, that's really all it takes to be good at prospecting. There's no secrets to it. It just takes hard work. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.